Welcome to CATtheMinion YouTube channel. My name is Teresa, but you can call me Cat. This is a horoscope reading, no, astrology, whatever, astrology. And I'm doing this by quality, so this is fixed signs. So I have, are they in the shot? Taurus, Leo, Scorpio, and Aquarius for this group. The spread that I'm doing is called Roadblock Moguls. That's one of the ones that I offer, and you can see that in the description box underneath here, or you can download the PDF on my WordPress or read the matching web page that's up on my WordPress. And you can email me, and I can also reply back the text and or the PDF. So those are available, and it has the list of the readings and the prices, and then I have the matching readings for sale playlist on here so you can see how they work. But anyway, this is the one that I'm doing called Roadblock Moguls, and for this, and this is relating to the full moon in Cancer for these signs. So I already did mutable signs, and that was really intense. This is probably not going to be much different. I was thinking about the fixed signs. They appear in the tarot on the wheel and on the world card in many decks. So for me, I was already thinking that there's going to be something to do with motion. Spinning wheel got to go around. The decks that I'm using, I have the Mystical Shaman Oracle here. It matches my table. See, they disappear into it. Magic. I've got the Aquarian Tarot. I trimmed mine, and I regret doing that. So if you are thinking about cutting the like 3 or 4 millimeters of white around it, probably don't, because I'm not real happy with it. But once you cut one, you got to do the rest of them. So the Aquarian Tarot, I have the elemental hexagons here, and I've got my deck of my phrase deck that I made for myself, which is paraphrasing from random pages of the books that I've got hanging around, magazines and manuals and shit. So the way this reading works, I have already cleared and shuffled these, and I've decided recently that I wanted to lay them out on camera. The way that this reading works is that the first row is going to be what's like some people call the 5D squared. It's like a layer above your higher self. Like there's a higher dimension. This is sort of like the committee that manages the higher dimension, like a council. Like an even higher level of consciousness. So if your higher self is like an angel running around trying to get stuff done so that you'll do what you're supposed to, this is the level that would give them their task list to do. So I've got a double here, and there's only supposed to be one. I've got another double here, which is weird because this doesn't even have Gemini in this pile. Although, interesting enough, because these signs show up on 2 different tarot cards. And I have 4 slots, 4 columns. And those are arranged by element or suit. Got another double. Taking these cards. Somebody has got a lot going on, for sure. So this is going to be wands, which is like your core energy, your gut instinct, your sort of life purpose, your drive, your muse, your self-confidence, that kind of thing, your identity. There's 2 out of 3 ain't bad. Let's do it this way. This one's going backwards for some reason. No. This is cups, which is emotion, but it's also, surprised to see that. It's also intuition. Psychic, the psychic waters. Come on, give me I missed that one. I don't know why that's going backwards. That's weird. Usually the cards cascade this way, but for some reason those ones wanted to go that way. This is swords, which is thoughts, perception, communication, innovation. I'm getting like Morse code, like and I'm seeing like communication to distant stars. So when I did the mutable reading, I felt compelled to move these over the column that matched them. So Aquarius is an air sign. It's already sitting there. And Scorpio is a water sign. So I'm going to put that over the cups column. This might not be all the way in focus. I'll check it in a second. Leo is a fire sign, so I'm going to put that over the wands column, and then Taurus is going to go over here because this last column is earth energy, and that has to do with, it can do with like money, but it's mostly resources, which could be time, energy, food, any kind of product. It's also the physical body and health. So could be raw materials, it could be buttons and other findings, food, gasoline, meat resources like people, any kind of stuff that you need, bits and pieces and parts and stuff. Tin. This one's sticking out to me. This guy, oh, I guess that's a double. And this one. Okay. So this is the 3D. This is the 5D. This is like your angel running around like a chicken with its head cut off, trying to figure out how to get you to get the message about what's going on up here. And this is the 3D. This is what you're perceiving as of what's coming down. Right? This is like, what are you understanding about your life versus what's your scheduled plan is. Right? What's the syllabus? What are you working on? And what's actually getting done. Okay. So this is going to be a wrap-up card that's like advice or whatever. I've got 3 there, which is fine, because these usually work better when they come out as a paragraph, even though there's only supposed to be 1. So we have a bunch of, that's not even for that. We have a bunch of extra cards, and this is probably going to be long, so I guess we'll get into it. Sorry if my voice keeps going rough. I already talked for like an hour and a half, and I have like a sinus infection. So it's just gonna, we're just gonna have to do the gravelly thing here. Although I could help by getting a sip of water. Take some more Bobatus. It helps if I want water if I take the friggin' cap off the bottle though. Alrighty then, let's do this. One gonna sleep ever, but I gotta get this done while it's still in the full moon energy. Do I have Snuffleupagus over here? Okay, is that in focus? Kind of. That's pretty good. Okay. Alright, so we're gonna look at the upper echelon here and see what's going on. Double here already. Give me the card. Okay, so Wands energy, I have the arrow, which is very much looking like Sagittarius, which is, you know, like fire in the hole. And then I have the Rainmaker inverted, 42, the answer to everything. I usually forget what this card is about. The arrow is about sort of expansion and sort of heading in a direction that you want to go. So let me just skim those. It's been a while since I used that deck or really been in the flow of tarot. And because I don't usually remember what the Rainmaker is about, which might have to do with resources, but I'm just going to skim it. I don't claim to be omniscient, so I just need a little bit of a kick in the ass from the book here. Okay. The Master of Manifestation, calling the elements of nature to serve the greater good. Co-creation. See, when you co-create with the universe, you create abundance, but if you use the power for personal gain, everyone suffers. When the earth is parched, the Rainmaker calls the waters from the heavens. All that is dormant in the fields and in people's hearts spring to life again. This makes me think that the arrow is being shot up into the sky. Like it's dry as down here, and I'm going to shoot the arrow into the clouds and pierce the clouds and make it rain because there's a drought. There's like someone is hoarding and the arrow is being sent to fix that. There's a duality here, expansion in here, and the Rainmaker inverted, it's like a contraction. So it says, recognize how you are co-creating your world. Nothing is happening out there without your involvement. Remember that the world is only mirroring back to you the condition of your love and your intent. So change these within before you take any action. Do not take life personally. Okay, so this is in contrast with the arrow, which is an outreaching and expansive energy. Very much. Oh, and notice how on the back of my cards here, I've got this as well. The arrow. Oh, see, this is talking about heart and soul too. Receiving this symbol reminds you that when you are in alignment with your heart and soul, you are on target and will soon be hitting your mark. Be true to your calling, release attachments, and free yourself from the bondage of unbridled ambition. Right? What is unbridled ambition? It's getting at stuff, resources at whatever cost. I'm no longer going to co-create. I'm just going to take what I can get that other people are making. There's an imbalance in the system. I'm taking too much. So now is revealed to be a moment of contact in which your intention meets the material world. It also symbolizes the need to set your creativity free. Okay, so the arrow illuminates the moment of contact when you know that your desires and intentions have traveled on the wind and landed in the perfect place for your highest good. Trust that your job is to be relaxed yet focused, keeping your eye on the prize, yet releasing your intention with full expectation that it will land as it is supposed to. Don't worry about the how or the exact form. This is not a time to interfere with the manner in which the arrow flies. It will make its mark and you will have cause to celebrate. Okay, so what I'm seeing here is either like in the past you've been sort of hoarding and grabbing and taking instead of letting things unfold in a more natural manner. Or it could be that your own course, has been stifled by someone taking for you, and now you're in this situation where your goals are to go in a certain direction, but you're afraid that you're not going to get there because of all this sort of theft of resources and energy from an outside source. This is coming as a directive from your highest self for your core purpose in life. So this is a point where it's either dealing with karma from a past life of drying up resources, where now you have to go out and make your way where you feel unsure, right? Because if you're hoarding stuff, then you always have. But now it's in a position of I have to trust that the universe is going to meet me where my needs are when I'm not in a position to suck up more than I need. Right? I need to have faith that what I need will be there, versus a situation where I've experienced always having more than I could ever use. And again, this is either a past life, like regroup, the shoes on the other foot, or it's saying I've been experiencing theft of personal resources, and my goal is to overcome that and understand that I am still going to follow through my life to this one target goal that I have. Okay, so let's look at the I almost said the thumbs. Okay, the thumbs, the cups, a thimble of something. Soul retrieval, intéressant. The moon, perhaps, and also there's a sphere here, like the earth and the moon here. Fractal kind of situation. So the soul retrieval, we have this rebirth element, transformation, right? The butterfly is all kinds of goo as between the caterpillar and the butterfly stage, and now it's coming out. This could be a moth, though. Could be nighttime. Either or. Soul retrieval. And the partner, this is 49. Beauty Way 4 inverted. Ooh, look at this. I'm like, We have a dragonfly here, which is also a sort of transformative creature with another moon kind of shape, and then a dark moon here. So Beauty Way inverted. I feel like this is going to be a similar thing. I'm not surprised to see the lotus there with cups, because it feels like a related thing. So I want to see the Beauty Way inverted first. Beauty Way is sort of like, kind of like the lover's essence, but not. Okay. It's both a path that you travel on and a daily practice. So this is talking about the path. The path is where you choose to perceive only beauty before you, behind you, and all around you as you journey through life. So this is talking about the raw deal. Everything sucks. Right? Whoever's been hoarding has been a vacuum, sucking everything out and making it crap. But it's like you can perceive that to be the death to your soul, or you can perceive it as something transformative. Soul retrieval here also indicates to me karma, right? Karma has, like, I've lost my soul. But when I pay off that debt, then I can retrieve it back. With interest. The practice is where you take action to bring beauty to every situation you are in. When things get ugly, you act to bring integrity and peace to the difficult encounter. So integrity isn't just like, I got integrity. It's integration. Integration of the light and the dark. So you act to bring integrity and peace to the difficult encounter. When everyone else perceives only darkness, you point out the light and help uncover the hidden treasures. So it says, stop trying to fix relationships that you believe are broken. Recognize that things are exactly as they need to be in this moment and acknowledge the inherent beauty in that. When you understand this, you will be able to bring about the change you want. Do not engage in gossip about the darkness and flaws of others. Be careful not to be seduced by the superficial beauty of a project or relationship that you are toying with, unless you are willing to pay a price for it later. So paying a price for it is that karma, that's that debt, that's that somebody owes me. So I could see this as, you know, this could easily be like I was really poor because somebody took all my money. Some CEO filled his pockets and ransacked this company and I lost my job. And, you know, I hate everything now. Or it's a relationship. I gave everything to this person and they sucked me dry of like money, energy, time, my youth. You know, they took the house and the car and the jewels and all that. So it could be a toxic relationship. It doesn't have to be literal too. It's like somebody's giving in a relationship, but someone else only ever takes and they don't think about the other person. Sort of a codependent, narcissistic kind of situation. Why am I looking at that? Okay. Soul retrieval to counter the beauty way. So it's sort of like, you know, I was working at this job and the company screwed me over and I lost my job and now I don't have any money. But the silver lining is you didn't like that job anyway. It was stressing you out and it wasn't your ultimate stopping point in your life goal. You might have learned skills there that you need for this other job that you're going to have that you're going to love. But you might have learned something there of like, don't do this. Look for these signs about people being untrustworthy. So you could have gained something very important there. You know, like I had to work as a cashier, talk to people, and then the company went under, and now I'm screwed. But now I'm going to get a job at a nonprofit, public speaking. And if I hadn't had to talk to all those random people, and then I wouldn't be comfortable with the public speaking. So you see that there can be a beauty element even in a pile of crap. Let's see. Soul retrieval. I'm going to skim that a little bit. Soul retrieval. Okay, I left time. Soul retrieval. Okay. Soul retrieval is a practice that helps you recover a part of yourself, right? If somebody stole stuff from you, even including part of your soul, maybe. Sucked the soul out of me. Your energy, your enthusiasm, your innocence that you have lost. At first, you use soul retrieval to recover from hurts and heal your childhood wounds. Later, it's to journey to recover your original nature, which is over here. That self that never left the Garden of Eden, who still speaks to the rivers, to the trees, and to God, if you believe in God. When we return to Eden, we are whole again. So then we have... Okay, when did you compromise what you truly believed? Oh. When did you compromise what you truly believed in to be loved or accepted by someone? Think back over your life and find time or times when this happened. Vow to never compromise your integrity again. Again, that word integrity. If someone wants to disintegrate you, they pull you apart and siphon what they can off of you. And a lot of the time they'll take the lightness, right? They'll take the happy parts and they'll rip that away and you'll only be left with your darkness, feeling hollow and like everything's like torture. That's a disintegration. Your light and your dark is no longer in balance. It's been fractured. What have you agreed to in the name of love that you know is deeply wrong? Make it right this instant. So this very much could be a romantic relationship that was lopsided. But this idea of being loved, of like I love myself when I have money, or other people love me when I have money, also feeds into work. Like my employers love me when I'm working, but now they don't love me and they treat me like crap. They took all my time and all my energy, and now I'm left with no money and no job. So that kind of thing. All right. So when you have in the thoughts sector, we have the serpent, 46. So that breaks down to 10, which is the wheel number. We have this duality coming in here again. Things being pulled apart. A lot of the time I get this card inverted, but here it's upright. This has to do with the two halves of the brain. We're talking about integration again. And speaking of Garden of Eden, you know, this particular mythology coming up doesn't have to be, you know, Abrahamic religion mythology, but it was talking about the Garden of Eden, and then we have the snake here. But the snake is the kundalini. It's the balanced masculine and feminine energy. It's the dark and the light, and so on and so forth. The two hemispheres of the brain. We have them traveling in opposite directions. We have this sort of moon-type energy again. Planets and satellites. Let me skim this. 46. I'm not feeling super intuitive of this deck right now. I got pretty good with it, and then I just kind of like brain dumped. The serpent is the life force of Mother Earth. The coiled serpent of the Kundalini brings passion, healing, and renewal. Okay. Tree of Knowledge. Shed the past the way she sheds her tired old skin. So this is very similar to this moth or butterfly here. Coming out of the chrysalis is like shedding the old skin, dissolving the old self. And here it's a shedding. And usually snakes and lobsters and stuff, they'll shed when their environment becomes too constrictive. So then they shed the skin or the shell or whatever, and then they expand into this a new vulnerable exterior appears. So this is like, to continue on the path, there is a shedding of the confines of the reality, right? Like, I don't have to be confined by this reality. This isn't the totality of who I am. Cat yowling and always, shut up, Ori. Oh, for Christ's sake. Just to go into heat just because it was cold out. Okay. Okay. Shed the old skin that you've been so attached to and welcome the vulnerable pink underbelly that will bring you a fresh experience of your life. Your passion and sexuality are awakening, and this can be scary. Trust the wisdom of the serpent to transform your sensual energies into beautiful organic manifestation. Original manifestation. Well, this does sound like a romantic reading, but you would keep in mind that Kundalini energy rises up through all of the chakras. So even if this isn't romantic, and maybe it's not about sexual encounters or a sexual situation, we still have to deal with the fact that the human sexual organs are sitting in the second chakra. The sacral chakra is a bowl. It's fire, but it's like a liquid bowl, right? Liquid hot magma, like a little bowl of lava. And this is where creativity comes. This is where your ideas, it's the fuel for the solar chakra, which is where the identity is, right? I'm out of gas. I don't have enough resources. Somebody hoarded all the energy. So maybe she's got a mouse out there in the hallway. She sounds like she's romping around. The sacral chakra is, do I feel nurtured? If I don't feel nurtured, then all my ideas are crap, and I don't have the self-confidence to create my life how I want to. If I am not nurtured, then my sacral lava cup cools and hardens, and then there's this sort of crumbling. So another thing that happens is that adult humans tend to have all their excitement sort of like all roads lead to Rome. If an adult human gets excited, it just sort of overloads the sacral chakra, and then you might not be sexually attracted to someone or something, but if your happy circuits get overloaded, it's going to blow the circuit, and you're going to be like, why am I horny? So that's something to consider. And also that an integrated adult human is going to have sexual energy. And you don't have to be interested in using it in a sexual manner all the time. It's a creative force. And it's not something to be shamed or ashamed of. But it's not a weapon either. It's just something that exists, right? Like a lion laying in the sun. There's an innate power there, but it's there. It's not, running off, humping everything in sight, and it's not out attacking and murdering something either. It's just in its own energy. And this is what the Kundalini wants to do. It wants to clear that chakra so that it can flow up the rest of the chakras all the way up through the crown. So in order to do that, there has to be an analysis and a clearing. What was it? An integration, a resurrection of the shame, guilt, feeling of lack of some kind of emotional or soul hunger. Soul retrieval, I'm starving. Where's the rest of me? Okay. I feel like that's a big enough explanation. Okay, Taurus. So we have the beloved. Kind of not surprised to see this. This is also kind of like the lovers. And the moon. So we're sitting in this transformative energy here, this soul retrieval, this reparative energy coming in with this full moon in Cancer. 37 breaks down to 10, which is also the wheel, which has those fixed signs on it. The wheel. The wheel in the sky keeps on turning. Journey. On their journey. It's the moon. So, like I had said this in the mutable reading, but the moon is like a feminine energy. And there was a lot more to do with a birthing and rebirthing energy there. It was more of a gestational thing. This is more of a how I feel as the thing being born. The moon is considered pregnant on the full moon, and then she gives birth. So there's a rebirth element here, but that's not the main focus. The main focus, this kind of looks like a view inside the womb. And the little fetal hands, or like a view of the mother's hands touching the fetus as if the whole belly was inverted, invisible. We have a number 5 here, which is half of the 10, but it's also a shift or a pivot. It's like, in my material world, I want to shift into a state of feeling like I'm nurtured and cared for, and that I'm moving into a new phase. So let me just skim the moon. Do I want to? No, I don't need to skim the moon. I'm going to skim the beloved, though. The recognition of spirit in another, moving towards spirit through the other. When the divine appears to us in the form of our child, our partner, or friend, and we experience being in love. Now, this doesn't have to be romantic. It could be appreciative, right? I love you because I find you exciting and interesting. Be my friend, like platonic. But it could also be very much like, I am deeply in love with you, like I'm learning a different view of the universe, but not this like, I love you, oh, I love you too, let me take all of your everything. That's not what that is. That's not a beloved. That's a like a, I was gonna say a gimp, a lackey. As we grow, we start to recognize the beloved in everyone, not confusing their personality with their divine nature. So this is how you can get into a relationship with someone who ends up being an energy vampire, or a resource vampire, or my car and my house and my money vampire. It's recognizing their higher self, but not seeing any sort of meat space red flags where you can say, like, oh, I can see your potential, I can see where you're going. But they might not see their potential, they might not see where they're going. So even if you see the beloved in someone else, in the material, you still have to sort of understand that their personality, their ego, isn't always congruent with their higher divinity. But you can still see sort of you can still see the beauty in them and saying, like, there's a soul in there, but I don't have to be responsible for it. And you shouldn't really be responsible for other people's journeys anyway. So it says, accept the invitation to learn through the path of love. Expand your being through union with another. When you recognize the beloved in another, you call forth their highest and purest nature. Follow the path of love. But again, it doesn't mean to be a doormat. And that might be this whole situation up here is this lesson of transformation, sacral energy, and love versus lust, or sort of balanced, integrated response versus codependency. And let's look at what's going on in the 3D. So we have germanium, disagreement, Neptune energy. This is a chessboard, but it's underwater. So there's a game here, but it's made difficult. We had the Rainmaker inverted, and now we have something that's drowning. I'm going to start drowning in the sea of love. That's Ava Cassidy. So this is like someone who's constantly trying to outmaneuver you, using the depths of your emotions against you, possibly gaslighting. This is weird. It's coming in the Wands energy, right? In my gut feeling is that I'm being played. But it's like for some reason I've still played the game even though I was drowning. Like it's a losing hand on many levels, but I couldn't get out of the game somehow. In the Cups energy, we have cesium. So we have basis of time, right? Cesium clock to measure the speed of light. And then we have calcium, feminine energy. So we have the Empress energy here. Notice I was talking about the feminine over there with the moon. Calcium and cesium. Does a body good. This makes me think of, like, I'm running out of time. My body's degrading. I'm getting old. I spent all my time playing these games and the clock is ticking. Like, what am I going to do? I'm not going to last that much longer. Thoughts. We have tungsten. The ability to hold an edge. This is interesting because air is swords energy, and then we have tungsten with these blades here. Something that cuts, a sharp wit. Razor edge thinking. This is like, I feel like I wasted a lot of time dicking around while my body went to hell, but now I've learned so much. I've got this razor sharp wit, and I can see people coming from a mile away. In the physical world, we have cadmium, so we have all these C's. Cesium, calcium, cadmium. Pigments. To me, this is like medicines. I'm hearing somebody mix my medicine, somebody's in my head again. What's that? What's her face there? Taylor Momsen, but I can't remember what her band is called. Somebody mix my medicine, somebody's in my head again. There's also this idea of creating. And here we see all these rainbow colors. It's like that Kundalini energy. And then again, this black and white, like this checkerboard. It's like I'm going to grind up all these pieces and stop playing the game, and I'm going to create something else. Like, I'm not going to keep swallowing these pills. It's like I'm taking control of my healing at this point. Also says energy, right? I'm trying to rebuild my energy. These piles are pretty small, but I want to cover a lot of ground with them. If I mix them with water, I can spread them out all over the place and have it stick. So that's kind of weird. I want to see what this in between is. Like, why is my angel or my higher self keep running around and like walking into a post and getting a headache and being dizzy and not helping? Like, why are they passed out drunk in a corner? All right. The Three of Cups. No más. Mercury in Cancer. Mercury retrograde. It's also sort of like no parties, giving me sort of pandemic energy. The Page of Swords. 11. Which I have assigned Uranus energy. So we have Mercury retrograde with Uranus going direct pretty soon in this month. And we have the Cherry inverted Cancer energy. The Moon. So I have 10 and then 11. So I have 11 with inverted 10. I have just enough energy to overcome this like grinding to a halt with other people. Like, I'm not going your way anymore. I'm not going to follow the crowd. I'm taking my own truth in my hand, and I'm going to take that one small step where the hell I want to go. It's following this arrow. This is saying, like, I'm surrounded on all sides. I'm striking out on my own. But here it's still like I feel like I'm losing the battle. So this like intestinal fortitude energy isn't quite making it all the way into the 3D. Right, the emotional messages. The High Priestess inverted. So traditionally the moon, although I usually see her as Pisces. But here I think it probably is the moon. But I did have Neptune energy over here. Right, there's a breakdown in the ability to see things coming. The Hermit going within. So I have 9 and then I have 2, which is like 1-1. There's an emergency. I also see the Hermit, which tells me Virgo, the inner child, and then I have 7 of Swords. So this is the Sneaky Ninja card. The Moon in Aquarius. Traditionally the Moon in Aquarius. And so we're going to go with that. So 2 traditionally Moon cards, also inverted. Moon inverted, Moon inverted. This Moon is like pulling things back in time. And we see here, 3 of Cups is like a low vibration of the Empress. It's like a little girl. There's a distortion in the inner child. There's a healing needed in the inner child. This is like, I'm running out of time, I'm getting old. There's just sort of like my innocence, my joie de vivre, that, you know, excitement to just be in the world is sort of stripped away, and this sort of jaded older version of the self is coming in. So the High Priestess, the crone energy, it's like I don't want to be old, but I also need to heal my inner child. I need to get in contact with that, but it's like I don't want to be that vulnerable. 7 of Swords. Nobody's like a stop has been put to the theft. And it's this feeling of like I've wasted my youth. Like it's all gone. But there's still an aspect of universal timing, right? 911, 11. There's 11 here, 11 here. There's a time element. Thoughts. The 9 of Pentacles. All the single ladies. Now, there was a lot of feminine energy coming through in the mutable signs too. And I think because the moon is a very feminine energy, what it's highlighting is the feminine energy. Everybody has both. Okay. The other reading was dealing with the distortion of the mother. This is dealing with a sort of more of a distortion in the feminine child aspect. And it could be I've been stolen from by older masculine energy and this is my reaction. Or I was in this damsel in distress energy because that was the pattern that was taught to me, so I don't know how to do anything else. This is, in my head, I want to be self-sufficient. Further on my way, 9 of Pentacles, to becoming the Empress. That's what I want. That's what I think. 9 of Swords inverted, right? I don't want to be anxious anymore. So I have 9 and 9 and 9 here. So 9s and 11s. No longer anxious. My nightmare is, I'm turning it over. 9 of Swords is a half moon card. It's the nightmare card. 9 of Pentacles is a half moon card. It's one of the dream cards, right? I want to turn this nightmare around. I want to turn it into a dream where I have what I need. I'm provided for. And it doesn't just mean materially, it means like in my mind. Like there's an emotional aspect to it. Then we have the Tower. I don't know whether this is up or down. Doesn't matter. Tower is tower is tower. Aries energy, fire. The breakdown of the old stuff. The rebuilding element. This is the caterpillar turning into goo. My core is being reconstituted. And in some way it's going to be perceived in this thought process, in this outlook, in this perspective. The ability to hold an edge. Well, if I can hold an edge, I don't need all these swords, I only need one. I don't need 9, I need 1. One good one. Let's look at this. This reading is actually really obscure. 4 of Cups inverted, the Moon card. All right, I'm finally going to be able to take what the universe has on offer for me, instead of just being apathetic because everything hurt. Right? The sun is coming. In the challenge position, I have the Knight of Cups. This guy came out, I think, twice in the mutable reading. This is, I'm about to set out on what my heart desires. Coming in under this beloved energy. Whether it's another person or whether it's an integrated personal life. Like, I'm not ashamed anymore. I've integrated the masculine and feminine halves of my inner child. And the Devil inverted. So this is Capricorn energy. In this case, inverted, it's going to be like a release of the shadow, a release of the ego, breaking the chains that bind you to this, like, I'm unhappy with myself, I'm too old, I pity myself, woe is me, that kind of stuff. Breaking the chain that binds that. A sort of ego healing, because it's coming in this physical, but it's also to deal with the body. A release. An emotional release that's leading to... It's sort of like muscle memory, what they call engrams, trauma in the body being released. And we see that there is a healing element here too as well. Okay, so what is this advice paragraph that decided to chunk out? Troublesome, frustrating goblins all up in your work, undoing your labor. Sometimes helpful. Again, that's this idea of the beauty way, seeing how these setbacks or like invasions of self helped in some way. Not always, though. Sometimes it's just somebody messing up your stuff. The drought maker, let's call it. Education of tradition of the past and the realities of the present. Okay. So this is what I'm talking about with this inner child thing. It's like, what is the past? I feel guilty, I feel ashamed, I feel insecure, I feel taken from, I feel like nobody likes what I'm doing. This is the past. The present is that I am in a position to take control of my own life. What do I want? What makes me feel like me? What is my journey going? Where is it taking me? The reality is that none of these energy material vampires, they're not going to be sucking on my neck anymore. I am the butterfly. They only wanted a caterpillar, right? I'm too strong for them at this point, but I haven't caught up with that idea because I'm stuck in my wounded inner child. And the present is I can heal that. I'm melting as you hold me. Okay, so this could be integration with the self, but it could also be finding that beloved, that emotional and steamy sacral relationship that actually is matching you on a level, right? Someone that sees you as your value and you see them at their value, and there's this sort of building up instead of disintegration. Okay, so that's where this is heading. This is what this full moon is opening up for Leo, Scorpio, Aquarius, and Taurus. The fixed signs, right? The wheel is turning. The wheel is breaking off of those chains. Okay, so this is what can be expected coming out of the full moon. All right, that's a lot. I'm done. We're done here. Okay, so you can get a personal reading. I think I mentioned it at the beginning of the video, so let me just get my sign up here. Here. Okay. So you can email me for that reading if you want a reading. The list is also going to be down below in the description box. You can find it on WordPress, both in a site page and in a downloadable PDF. I can email you the PDF, or I can email you the list if you want that too. I've got merch and prints and actual art items. There's a coupon here, 17% off 3 or more items on Etsy. A lot of my stuff is going to be psychedelic. You can get some of these guys. Lotus. There's a rainbow chakra set, which might be really handy if your Kundalini's all bunched up. You can pin that orange one to yourself for a few days and help that straighten your stuff out. And then I have the personal readings and all that. Yeah. If you found this useful or helpful or interesting in some way, consider donating. It's PayPal, Cash App, or Venmo, all CATtheMinion. All of these links, coloring books, poetry, and so on, it's going to be through the link tree, linktr.ee/CATtheMinion. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, comment, check out my playlists tab, and stay groovy, and we'll see you later. Bye.